Mrs. McGinty by Susan Idema. Old Mrs. McGinty was ornery and mean. She lived in a house painted 3 shades of green. All the kids on the block were afraid to go near. They clung to each other and trembled with fear. "Stay away from my house," she would yell every day, and all of the children would scurry away. Mrs. McGinty dressed in purple and blue, from the top of her head to the tip of her shoe. Her hair, brilliant orange, was wavy and high. She looked like a sunset ablaze in the sky. The children would tiptoe as close as they might to catch a glimpse of the colorful sight. They peered over bushes and hid behind trees, some standing, some crouching, and some on their knees. "Stay away from my house," she would yell every day, and all of the children would scurry away. One day, little Joey, the smallest of all, was practicing juggling his favorite red ball. One toss of the ball a little too hard. "No, no, it can't be Mrs. McGinty's backyard." "Stay away from my house," she would yell every day, and all of the children would scurry away. Little Joey stood frozen, his eyes on his ball, his super, colossal, most favorite of all. Mrs. McGinty stepped closer, her green eyes a-glaring, determined to learn why the young boy was staring. "Stay away from my house," she would yell every day, and all of the children would scurry away. Joey, still intent on retrieving his prize, didn't notice her nearness, nor hear his friends' cries. "Run, Joey, run! It's your very last chance!" But Joey inched forward, as if in a trance. "Stay away from my house," she would yell every day, and all of the children would scurry away. Joey's friends watched in horror as she reached for his ball. Mrs. McGinty was ready to put an end to it all. Then Joey looked up with a smile on his face, and a surprisingly magical moment took place. "I can teach you to juggle," he said with good cheer. "Oh my!" gasped the old woman. Her eye held a tear. "Stay away from my house," she whispered so sadly. "I'm sorry I've treated you children so badly. I lived with the circus when I was a child. My parents tamed tigers, ferocious and wild. Then all was lost one stormy day. The circus closed down and we moved away. Stay away from my house," she whispered so sadly. "I'm sorry I've treated you children so badly. I miss the circus, the music, the clowns. That's why my smiles have turned into frowns. The juggler was my very best friend. If I learn how to juggle, my sadness could end. Come sit by my house," she said with a smile, and the children were thrilled to visit a while. Joey picked up his ball, tossed it high in the air, while Mrs. McGinty watched from her chair. First the red ball, then blue, then orange, then yellow. Mrs. McGinty exclaimed, "What a talented fellow!" "Come sit by my house," she said with a smile, and the children were thrilled to visit a while. Now every Saturday at 8:30, the children all run to the garden gate, where Mrs. McGinty puts on a fine show, tossing balls in the air as high as they'll go. "Come sit by my house," she says with a smile, and the children are thrilled to visit a while.